everybody, welcome back to our testimony. We've actually had a young man come in to give us a testimony on our classes specifically for our children, what we focus on. Carol, how old was Jack when he started?
Jack, when he started, was just coming up to 9, and he's now coming up to 12, so he's been within the art college for 3 years now.
For 3 years, yes, definitely. So obviously for health and safety and confidentiality, we don't have photos of the children, but we have a lot of their art pieces. So please go and take a look at our website at all their artwork, and we're just going to give you some feedback from Carol, especially for you to understand if you're wanting to push your child's skill further in specifically our technical drawing and painting programs. What do we do and how do we do it different? So Carol, just why did you decide to actually start art classes, or what made you sign up Jack for art classes?
For us in our family, the real catalyst for looking out for art classes was around the aspect the school curriculum was under pressure. Obviously there was focus on the academics, and the creative subjects, art, of which our grandson absolutely adored, was being dropped from every week to every other week, and we were trying to seek an element to really fill that void, because art was something for him that he really enjoyed doing, and it really calmed him, and it really sort of like his personality came out on the paper. So we didn't want him to lose that within his school environment, and therefore we were seeking to do art classes.
Okay, and what feedback did you get from Jack that he actually wanted to start art classes, and what were you actually looking for?
When we first
you were
came,
finding other places, and
we were looking around, and we were searching all different colleges in the area, but for us what was the real deciding factor was Jack was a bit nervous about coming to meet with Justin and to actually have an interview, and what we found was Jack was relaxed, happy, put at ease, and just to really, even the interview showed that the Arts College has a demonstration that they focus on the individual and focuses on the student rather than looking at the whole class constantly. And Jack was so at ease when he came out of the interview, and for me what was the deciding factor was that he was excited. He couldn't wait to start the art classes, and that for me was it. Yes, we'd found the right one completely.
And we keep the classes small, so we don't go over. I mean, we don't have classes of 30 children.
No.
We probably maximum have maybe 10,
Yeah,
maximum
10
12 but we don't go
Yeah.
over that amount there.
Yeah.
So what was the frustration for Jack when he was drawing before he started art classes with us?
The one word I say is perspective, and also the actual technique, the more technical, complex side of art. He knew he loved to draw, he drew, and quite frankly his drawing was better than mine ever could be, but he was getting frustrated with it himself because it was not quite what he wanted, and he could see in his mind's eye what he wanted, but he couldn't actually get the angles and the perspective right on the paper. And coming to the Arts College has really taught him how to think about the triangulation, the perspective, and especially now as he's drawing more and more on animals, the triangulation is really coming into the foreground. And his artwork 3 years ago versus now is just like night and day. That the techniques that he has been learned, the actual mediums of using various art material has been transformational for him and in his artwork as well.
So would you say, well, this obviously goes on to the next question, is how are the lessons delivered? Because obviously you've got places out there that say to children, right, just draw, and that is where most children panic. How have you seen in the classes how they've been delivered, and how is it different? Because the main thing is people understanding what do we do differently, and it's not putting any other art classes down or any other art teachers, because everyone has their own unique way of teaching, but just so that people can understand, why Jack has stayed with us for so long.
Yeah. For me, when I see Jack, when he comes into the class, it's usually after school, he's tired, but he walks into this environment and he's energized. And he actually gets so much enjoyment from seeing what your work has been, and as you're explaining the different techniques, you expose yourself to them as well and show this is how I was doing it, this is what some of the pitfalls that there are, some of the areas that you can change and adapt, but nothing is wrong. And whatever is on the paper can be enhanced and created to actually show what they really want to deliver and what they really want to produce. And even if a mistake happens, it might not be a mistake in others' eyes, but they do find the ways and ability to actually create it and build upon it rather than get frustrated with it and then have to start again. With the art college lessons, what I find is that they are given a door to go through to explore and just experiment to see where it takes them. And sometimes it doesn't take them to where they want to go, but 90% of what that experiment does, it gives them the courage to apply again and try a different technique next time. And there are no boundaries. They're allowed to really grow and experiment with what they want to do and what they want to achieve.
And with the drawing side, because a lot of which I don't understand why, but children are not taught specifically how to draw in proportion. And it's how you teach those children how to do that. So how much have you noticed Jack has jumped ahead now since he's learned his drawing techniques? Because it takes about a year at least for your child to actually click to understand how the techniques work. So in the beginning it might seem that everything's all over the place, but then just like that they turn and then they actually get the techniques very quickly.
And that's what we found with Jack. He was, especially he draws a lot of portraits, and the shading and the triangulation, eyes are incredibly difficult to draw. When you compare his work 2 years ago to now, it's completely different, and you can see him even when he's doodling. He is actually using his art techniques in his doodles to give him perspective. And whereas before he would have a canvas to paint on, he would get so frustrated because it wasn't fitting and he was having to squash bits into it to make it whole. Now, before he even puts pen to paper, he has got the perspective of where it's to go, how it's to fit in. But he does that through triangulation, but he does it naturally now. And as you say, it's like somebody unlocks the door and the key turns and they suddenly get it, and you think, well, you weren't drawing that like that last week, how has it changed? And it suddenly comes together, but it does seem to be, it's like building blocks. They build up the wall of each parts of aspects, and suddenly you've got a whole house built, because they actually then go into that room and they use that idea, that technique, or they go into that room and change a different medium. But I've definitely seen his improvements so much, but it takes time to come through. It's not do a couple of classes and you'll be the world's greatest painter. You have to build upon and build upon and build upon.
Yeah. And I mean now we offer that you can actually get a qualification, a recognised qualification, which is very good to have. And a lot of people, when they hear art qualification, they think, oh well, it's just art, but it's not, because obviously when you've got a recognised qualification, specifically in the technical drawing and painting, they're looking for innovators out there. So it really does add to your portfolio for when you actually go for job interviews, all of that kind of stuff. And you've touched on a very important point, which I actually do want to focus on a little bit, is Jack's doing his SATs at the moment.
No, he's finished his SATs. He was doing his senior school assessments.
Senior school assessments.
So they're called trust assessments, but they have to do them every year at the same time as the SATs.
And it's a very, very stressful time for all children who are going through that. How would you say art classes have supported Jack while doing that? Because a lot of people think, well, do we need to stop art classes to be able to carry on with our academic learning? What do you feel and what have you seen?
From my own personal experience, Justin, and I'll give her the pleasure, absolute joy to have Jack attending her classes, but Justin is a truly holistic teacher. She's a talented artist, she's inspirational to the children, but for me the essence of a true teacher who can read the energy levels of the children and say, okay, this is very technical, they have to focus, they have to be, really have to focus on what they're doing. When they're in an exam period, or the week of the exams, a week of SATs or what GCSEs, during that week the pressure is on them at school, and you think, you can't put them into an environment where you're saying to them, you've got to focus and you've got to do this element. But Justine is a truly holistic teacher, and she reads their moods and their energy levels, not as a class but as individuals. This week in particular, we have been going through the SATs weeks for some of the younger one. Jack's been going through his exams, and we thought it's going to be an added pressure. If you could see the energy at the end of the art class, all of the children, our grandson included, was absolutely buzzing and excited because Justina created an outlet for them to get all of that condensed in focus, you've got to work on these exams. And she actually gave them an outlet to say, okay, let's release all that, let's have some fun. And the moment that is open and that door is open for them, they get rid of all their frustrations. And there was giggling, there was laughing, the children were happy. And I have to say, however, that is what Jack is like every time he leaves the art college lessons. He's smiling, he's laughing, and he's excited about what he can deliver and create. And for me, that's what the art college is all about. It really gives them that energy. And it's not hard work. It's absolute enjoyment and passion, and that's the essence of teaching for me. Somebody who can create that. So, thank you.
I think Carol's going to see me to tears in a moment. So, Carol, just the last question: what would you say makes the arts college different, and what would you say to parents looking to do art for children, and to realise also it's an investment? Because a lot of people ask me the pricing of what we charge, and we use professional artist materials, but it definitely is an investment on not only education but learning how to take responsibility. There is a lot of mathematics involved.
Yes.
Any message you would like to send to the parents out there, or people, even young nans, other young nans, young parents out there?
It is a big investment, and if you're looking for any tutor for any of your children, it is a vast investment. But they do use professional material. They are taught how to look after that material. But for me, the investment is just minor compared to the amount they get from the art. And it's not just about that art class and learning that technique. They are truly encouraged to be the best they can be in any art medium and in any technique. And to see them really find and explore the journey that they're on with their art and where they want to go to, it's just amazing. And the cost is minuscule compared to the pleasure, the enjoyment, the confidence. And really the children that attend the art college, I will say, there isn't one of them that are not striving to be the best they can possibly be in the art environment, but not just in the art environment, in themselves as well. And for me, that is priceless. You can't put a price tag on that, and that's what the art college delivers. That's for me why it makes it so different.
Thank you, and thank you. And like you say, it's especially the mistakes and the not being afraid of failure, which is a big thing that unfortunately a lot of schools have the pressure. The kids have the pressure, the teachers have that pressure, and everyone is just so afraid to make mistakes now. It's actually quite scary.
Yes.
And
it's their mental well-being, and giving them the balance and having that outlet is just the perfect place. It is a perfect place for youngsters, and it's wonderful to see the incredible work that they deliver. And when you think about the ages of the children, it's not just an arts and crafts issue. It is a truly art college, and that's what they're focusing on. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you for coming through to give the testimony. And yes, please go and have a look at our website. Look at all the updated artwork. Book in for your interview, and obviously next week we'll see you soon.
Come and join. It's good fun.